This
So
conference will now be recorded.
just to create a free account, just you go to your browser and just browse that create free Azure account, create free Azure account. Then it will take you to the page where you can just directly load into a website where you can create your free account. This is where you can just click on start free. It will take you to the steps where you can create your free account. But before we create, do we really need to pay anything to create a free account? You don't have to. Uh, Whatever the thing you create, you'll get $200 credit as a free credits for you for using it for 1 month. After a month, these credits, like for India guys, will get roughly 15,000 credits, 50,000 rupees credit. Can you enlarge my screen? Yeah, screen you have to enlarge yourself. Like you just pull it upside and close this one. Right side, you will get the screen enlarged. Check out once. Actually, the screen, it will show like a small one, but you have to just make it large from your side. So here, when you create your free subscription, you get the $200 credit by default. You can use this for a month. And after a month, this will get expired. Even use it, you don't use it. You have to turn into pay as you go to create most of the services. So to practice whatever I'm going to discuss in the class, they are like paid services in fact, because we have a free services also which are available for 12 months, but they are very tiny in nature. You cannot practice everything that we do in the real time. So you don't create the the subscription today. You create one after one more class. I'll tell you when to create, but have an idea how do you create. So after 12 months, there are certain services which are free for 12 months. After that, you definitely have to pay for everything that you create. But how you manage your bill, how you manage your bill with the lowest cost possible, I'm going to discuss all of that. See, popular services free for 12 months. If you click on this, it will take you to the list of services that are free for 12 months. But these are all not great services. They are very small in nature in terms of services, where we are going to do in the real-time implementation. Those services are little larger than this, what you cannot explore everything on these tiny services. We're going to use paid services for our practice and all that. Someone is not a Karthik, you're not a, can I mute you? Right, fine. So let's go and create a subscription. To create a subscription, what Microsoft is recommending, have one of their email IDs, in fact, like Hotmail, Live.com, MSN.com, Outlook.com. You can use your Gmail account also. It's just a recommendation. They are recommending to have their email addresses to subscribe to the free Azure account, in fact, not just free anything. So it's not definite compulsory kind of thing, but the recommendation. So I'll just quickly create one Outlook account, use that Outlook account to create a free subscription right in front of you. So just to start from the scratch. So let's use this. Create free Outlook account. Any Outlook accounts are free. So I'm going to create one quickly. I'm going to use this for creating the free subscription. So let's see, is it available? No. Okay. I'll use something else. Right, that is available. BE3308. Right. So I'm going to give one password here. And first name, last name. Right. So right, it's just verifying that we are not robo. So pick a square that shows two identical objects. Right, this one, two identical. Same again. So here we can see two identical. Right. Where other object you see Not this one, not this one. Which one?
Red one, star one, center below. It has two
Okay,
mute buttons. Yeah.
yeah, correct. You're right. Right, now it is going to load my account. So this is going to, complete the account creation. So now I'm going to use this account for creating the free subscription. So it is not definitely how to create this, but it's a recommendation. That's why I just wanted to quickly create and use this account for creating free subscription. So Ravinder.B3308. So now I'm going to log off this. Now I'm going to create a free subscription. So using that email address, Azure free account, just click on that also. So it'll take you to this page and click on the start free. And then there will be 4-step process to create free subscription. It is very simple and self-explanatory. It is not tough. So now I'm going to create this ravinder.b3308 @outlook.com. Use the same password what you have used for the email. In fact, here it syncs because it's a Microsoft account only, right? The email address. So now it will land with the 4-step process to create a free subscription. You have to do the same thing what I'm doing here. I have recorded in the like document anyway, but I'll share this today with everyone. So now it picked up my first name, last name, my email address, and here phone number. Phone number must you should give which is working at the moment. It will verify your phone number. In fact, text me. As soon as I text it, I'll get a message here, and then once I give the message what I got, then it will take me to the credit card verification. So when you do first time, it will charge you like $1 or $2, and it will reverse your money back within 24 hours, maximum 24 hours to 72 hours, in fact. So keep the organization self. So you have to verify this code that you are a legitimate user. Now, PAN card is optional. You don't have to give it. Organization keep it self. We are not. We are just exploring ourselves. So keep it self. Give the address details as you are going to give for your credit card address. In fact, you'll get your bill, right? Credit card bill. Give that address here and agree and hit next. It will go with the next called identify your credit card. There you have to give your your credit card details. So first you will mention about yourself, then identify by your phone. Then it will take you to the here the credit card details. You have to mention the card number, expiration date, year of the expiration, CVV, name of the card, the address, and all that. So once you fill up the 4th step, then it will ask you the agreement. So you click on the agree the terms and conditions, sign up. Once you click on the sign up, it is going to take roughly 2 hours to 48 hours to activate your subscription. If I have to show that my activated subscription, I'll show you because I'm going to use this subscription for our discussion. So this already I have created. I'm going to use this in entire our class. You can log in like this once your account is activated. This account is not yet activated anyway. I did not give my credit card details and all that. So this is how the portal look like when you land in. Okay,
So,
so
so later, just a question, Ravinder. So after 1 month, we need to cancel it through the credit card so they don't charge us, or it will be auto cancelled.
no, you don't have to cancel. If you don't create anything, it won't charge you at all anything. Okay. So as long as you're not creating any services, after a month, they won't charge you. It is a pay-as-you-go model. You create it, you get the bill. If you don't create it, you won't get any bill. So you don't have to cancel. You can use the
Okay.
same subscription in the future also if you, when you need it. But as the free period is over, the credits will get expired. When you recreate the services, you have to pay for that. But
Okay.
anyway, how you manage your account with lesser charges, I'm going to talk about that.
Sure, sure. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So this is how the, once you really created your subscription and you see the subscription status as active, this is what is going to tell you that your subscription is active and you can do anything. Till this is not active, it's if it is in another activation mode, I mean, you cannot create it. It should come into active mode, the subscription status. Then you can start creating the services. It might take 2 hours to 48 hours. It all depends how quickly they are enabling your account. Before pandemic, they used to enable your free subscription within 2 hours. It usually used to happen. Nowadays, it is taking a little longer. You just better to be patient. Like you create it. Mostly they'll activate within 4 to 5 hours. But
Ravinder,
even if it is taking, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
can uh, can we create a multiple free accounts by using different mail IDs and different cards?
Yes, yes. You have multiple credit cards, then go for it. You can create multiple free subscriptions and use those free credits for 1 to 3 months. How many credit cards you have, that many free subscriptions you can create. That is possible.
Okay, but does the same credit card will be not applicable for the different mail ID, correct?
Yes, yes, they are actually validating. That used to happen, in olden days. You change the email ID, use the same credit card. They used to accept the, free subscription all the time. Just email ID is enough, new email ID. But now they're not allowing. They're becoming smart because people are misusing it. Okay, you
Okay.
have to use a different credit card. So they're validating it. It used to happen in 3 to 4 years back. You single credit card, you keep change your email address, keep create a same free account all the time, and you practice with the free credits all the time. It used to accept it, but now they are validating. They're not letting us to use the same credit card again. You have to, if you have multiple cards, you go with a like one after the other. 1 month is over, free credits are, you create one more, and one more month credits you'll get it like that. It is possible. Right. Once the subscription is loaded, this is how it look like. So I'll make it a little larger. So this is a search bar. This is something, if you don't know how to reach a service, like you have to work on the SQL service. You just type SQL. All SQL related services will load automatically from here. It is a quick search. Go on mute. Yeah. When you are speaking, you can unmute, but when you are not speaking, just go on mute because every sound will get recorded. It will be circulated to everyone. So here, guys, this is a quick search. This is a quick search, box where any service you don't know, like I wanted to create a virtual machine, just type virtual, and then whatever the service is starting with a virtual in it, it is going to show in the list. So this is like a quick search. You don't know how to reach a service to work on, and this is where you search and quickly, and then reach the service, and then click start building the service from there. So this is something, is a quick search we don't have to use every day. I'm going to tell you that you have to build your own favorite list of services and you start working from there every day. You don't have to search every day. As a beginner, yes, you should use this one to better finding the services. But if I wanted to know only free services, example, free services that we have free. If I click on this, it will display all the free services that are free for 12 months. In fact, there's a huge list of services. You see this? These are all free for 12 months. So whatever you're looking for, if you don't know how to reach them, just type there at the top. You will find the related services list, what you're looking for, and then reach that service and start working. Every day you don't have to work, but in the beginning you might use this. Then Cloud Shell and Active Directory, these two something I'll cover later on. We can automate the cloud services using the PowerShell, using the CLI command line interface for the Unix like Bash shell. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to spend good time there. We will talk about this identity management. Like you can create your own Active Directory and map the accounts to the services to what level of action they have to do. So we're going to spend one entire class on identity management. That's more than enough for identity management side. How you create an account, how you make them to perform certain activities. if based on the permissions you are giving to them, they can work on the services. In fact, you can allow specific action to be done by specific on specific services by giving certain privileges. We're going to talk about that, what kind of privilege we have, what privilege we need to give to whom based on their profile. In fact, everybody will not do everything. They do on specific services like SQL DBA. We will work on SQL services, maximum storage account and VM. So other than that, we don't have to get the access on the rest of the services. So based on the profile, we need to get the appropriate privilege according to the need that we'll talk here in the identity management. This bell symbol, if I create any service, it doesn't come online directly. It takes some time to get deployed in the background to make them online in the background, and then it will show you that the service is online. So when it is under progress, when you submit a service to create, it will display that service, whether it is deployed, if it is failed, what reason it is failed, if it is deployed, it is under progress, for how long it is running. I'm going to deploy VM by end of the class. I'll show you this notification. For now, leave it. I'm going to discuss this at the end of the class today itself. This gear symbol is your personal profile. You have a desktop, right? You will keep your own wallpaper, you keep all your shortcuts, the file names, whatever you wanted. The same way in the cloud also, it is your desktop kind of thing, how you wanted to see your portal. In fact, and you can find under this gear symbol, you can define your own things. So directories and subscription, here my default subscription is this what I created. So if I wanted to switch by default, my subscription should be should load with this Active Directory. What I created a lot of Active Directories for different classes, in fact. But what is actually default one? This is my default one. If I wanted to change it to this one as a default, I can change it, switch it. It'll load every time I log in this as a default directory. But this should be default directory because this is the one I have used for creating my subscription. Don't touch this one, keep it as it is. Here, how you wanted to see, if I look at this one, there are options. These are all options where I can directly access these services according to my need. I'll talk about this. How do you build your favorite services and start working from here itself? But if you wanted to see this example, you have to use a doc. If I don't want to see, fly out and apply. This option is actually hiding out. You click on this option, you will see the options again. When you click outside of that, it will collapse automatically. So you are undocking it, as simple as it is. If I come to here, I always use it docked only to see the services listed left side of it, and it's up to you how you wanted to hide it or show it. It's up to your choice. And themes, if I come to here blue and apply, you see it is getting changed. If I come to here light, it is getting changed. A dark theme, if I go to here, everything look like a dark, every background. See here. So how you like it, I mean, it's up to your choice. It's not something someone is going to teach you that use this color, that color. It's up to you. When your subscription is given with what background color you wanted to see the portal, in fact. So I always use the default one. Here the Azure default one, the first one is a default one. I mean, you can use any of this, up to your choice. High contrast, even if I go to the black example, if I apply it, though it is default one, the contrast one which will take you to, if I go to here apply, the background is getting changed every time I'm changing it. If you look at this one, it is giving the underline for each service, right? If I go with an underline is removed. If I come to here black, it is entirely underlined, all are applied. So I'll go with the Azure one and none. In the real time, what I have my personal portal, right? You'll given your own account when you're working in the real time, right? Focus navigation is not required anyway. So this one, always use a dashboard than home. There is a home and dashboard. You see these two options at the left side of the portal. I'm going to talk about this today. I mean, what is exactly the home directory? What is the dashboard? Why we need to land into dashboard only all the time? We will talk about it. I'm not finished yet about this. We'll talk about it. I'll finish these options first. Come that side. Leave it as it is as a dashboard. So startup Active Directory is this. So again, you have these many directories. I wanted to use my default directory, which is okay. Language and region. The portal is made roughly 21 languages, I guess. So if you are familiar with the English, keep it. If you are really, maybe different country, maybe Chinese, Japanese, something, then they only know their own native language. They don't know English. In fact, they don't know how to read also. Some countries actually, they only use their native language to, keep themselves, they don't learn different language. In fact, there are people, there's such countries, still there in the world. In fact, they don't want to learn different language. So that's why portal is made in different language. Okay. If you know that language, you can change it to that language, and then entire the fonts will come in that language. In fact, so as long as we know English, you should not change this. Keep it as it is. It's about your information, what email address you have used and all that. So you don't have to select this one. It is unnecessarily send you a lot of emails about it. Sign out notification. This is important, guys. You should log off from the portal every 15 minutes if you are not doing anything in the browser. If you are actively working, it will not log you off. But if you are not doing anything on the portal, your session should be timed out, else you forget to unlock your laptop. Assume a case, as a DBA, our accounts will have a privilege to destroy the databases, destroy the VMs. You can do a lot bad things with our own accounts, with the SQL DBA profile accounts privileges. So if someone damages that, you will lose your job. So better, if you are not working on the browser for next 15 minutes, it should log you off from your account, so that at least it will get safe. Okay, so I recommend 15 minutes. I keep 15 minutes also in the real time. But if you keep it never, it will cache your password. Just type portal.azure.com. It will land the your account automatically. Someone have a question? It seems not on mute.
The only question is about the AD directories you had created already. So when we do it for the first time, will we see a lot of AD directory options or no, we have to create them?
No, you will get only one AD Active Directory along with your subscription. It is a default Active Directory, which will be created by the portal automatically. Okay, when you subscribe. So you wanted to create your own custom domain, then you have to create. So how do you create that? We're going to talk as a separate class. In fact, how do we create our own custom domains and use it for the users kind of?
Okay.
By default, you only get one. So Vinay, you are not on mute. You want to ask something?
Oh, sorry, Ravinder.
Yeah, I'm muting it. Fine. So now here, this is something, the page you see under gear symbol is a purely your personal information, personal settings, what you wanted to keep it yourself. Okay. This is most important thing you need to know, the question mark. So most of the time in the Azure cloud, we cannot troubleshoot certain issues like VM is, like shut down automatically for some reason, infrastructure issues. Very rarely it happens. Very rarely it happens that VM got shut down automatically. You don't have a choice to go at backend, infrastructure and troubleshoot why the VM got shut down automatically. You don't have a choice actually. The infrastructure is handled by the Microsoft. If your database is disconnecting, certain cases we will see that intermittent connectivity issues on the Azure PaaS SQL database. So we cannot troubleshoot certain issues because we don't have access to underlying hardware or underlying infrastructure to verify the logs why these are happening. In fact, so certain cases you cannot resolve on your own. You have to definitely reach the Microsoft to get the more details of it, or else if some services are misbehaving it. Example, you created a SQL server, like it's not showing certain features what it has to. It happens sometimes because of infrastructure errors. You will see certain, like a misbehavior on service on some services also. In that case, you definitely have to reach Microsoft. There is no way that we can fix ourselves. So we will reach out Microsoft for multiple things in the real world. So how do we raise the help cases? I mean, tickets with the Microsoft for the portal, what you wanted to raise a case. So this is very, very important. You click on the help here, the question mark, help and support. Here it will let you to create a account, a service ticket with the Microsoft to get your issue resolved. You see this create support request. You click on this, it will take you to create a support case. Before that, this is important to understand, support plans. We have different support plans. In fact, so here, let me go to here and collapse this for better showing this. Basic one, I am part of the basic support model where I don't pay anything. I don't pay anything because it's my personal subscription. I don't want to pay for sure. But the problem is, you raise a case, there is no SLA for your case. Microsoft will respond to you when their technician is available. You cannot escalate them that I raised a case, I did not get the response at all. They will definitely respond, but their own availability time. There is no SLA defined. You raise a case, they'll definitely help you out, but at what time, what is SLA will apply to your case? There is no SLA. It is absolutely availability of their engineers. In fact, you cannot fight with them that I need to get this to be done so quickly, kind of. They will only come to you when they have time. That is what is a basic and free support model. Developer model. You have to pay $29. So when do this will be used? When my company wanted to migrate to my services to Azure, but we are only exploring it. We did not do any live migrations yet. I'm just Our company asked us to explore. We will create our subscribe to developer support model. What we are going to get with this? At least you raise a case, you get the response within 8 hours. Within 8 hours, someone will help you out. Someone will help you out to resolve your case. In fact, to resolve your issue. But again, here, if they are spending much time, you're going to pay for their work hours. Here it is free under basic. Whatever the time Microsoft people are spending with you for your resolution of issue, it is absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything. Under developer edition, they might charge you, depends on the technician total hours he's spending with you. But this $29 why I'm paying? To get the response within the 8 hours for my case. That is the only thing you're going to get. It's not support is free kind of thing. So if you're raising a case with the Microsoft, they will charge you for that. In fact, in certain cases, if the issue is genuine, that portal itself is, misbehaving it, or like you are highly dependent on Microsoft 20 for certain issues, they will consider it. They will see the case to case and they'll charge you according to the number of hours the technician is spending with you. But developer edition is only for beginning phase, like your company is trying to migrate to Azure, but they are exploring the options of the cloud. That is called developer edition, where you subscribe and you get certain SLA obeyed by the Microsoft for your case. If you go to the standard, you have to pay $100. You get the better SLAs. You see this one, 1 hour SLA. If I raise a case, someone will come to me, and I know that my cloud deployments, going to be live in near soon. I'll go to the standard so that I can get the immediate response. I'll start working on that with the Microsoft, so I can speed up the things which are I need to make things ready for the business, right? So whatever the gaps you have it, you have to raise a case and you get it rectified from the Microsoft. So this is only during the initial phase. This is about you make things ready for the production use. Before that, you have to subscribe to standard. Professional director, they will charge you $1,000 per month. This is really costly, in fact. What exactly it mean? I don't know anything in the cloud. My company people also don't know anything. What are the best standards? What is the best standards and what is suits to your environment? Someone will train you on the Microsoft services by taking this charge. There will be dedicated person. They'll spend you 1 hour a day, not entire day. They'll spend you certain time in a day, and they will give you the best standards, like you should use this service for your workload, you should use that service for your workload, and you should go with this on so resources with your workload. So they look at your workload and they will suggest you what suits to best your business, in fact. So this is something a client can opt in the initial days to train their resources well about their infrastructure usage of the services. In fact, it's up to the company, guys. It's not always that they'll subscribe to professional direct and they will make you train from the Microsoft. It all matters how they do it, how they progress. Maybe they hire the people who already know entire Azure. They don't have to go to this professional direct training at all. But there is an option. You can buy the training for a month. That an hour or 1.5 hour a day, someone will connect you with your people. They will explain that what are the best standards we need to follow to save the cost, to create suitable services for your environment. Not all. So this kind of things you'll get under upgrade, under professional direct. There is something called premium support model, premier, that you don't see with the like personal subscriptions. That is only available with the corporate subscriptions. Premier support model. There the SLA is only 15 minutes. Okay, you see this 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours SLA. If you go with the premier support model, premier is only available for the corporate subscriptions, not individual personal subscriptions. So under premier support model, you'll get the 15 minutes SLA. You raise a case, within 15 minutes, someone will contact you for resolving your issue. So again, the good thing with the premier support model is you raise a case, you get charged. If you don't raise a case, you never get a charged. You don't get any. It is equivalent to basic. If in a month I'm not asking for any help from the Microsoft, I don't get a charge for the support. But if I in a single month I'm raising multiple requests, in that case you need to pay for that, right? So corporates will go with a premier support model. You, if you are working in the real time already, you go and check your subscription. I mean, under your login, go to this question mark, click on the help and click on support model. You will find your support model, your company subscribed. 99% of the cases you will be subscribed under premier support model as a corporate. There you get the better response, and you will also get dedicated engineer to help you out on that particular issue. In fact, again, how long they are spending, that much bill will be given to you, that you don't have to worry. Your issue should be resolved. If you don't go towards billing side, you get a bad issue and you have to definitely resolve to rectify that issue in the production. You have to go to the Microsoft. There is no other way. Then you raise the case. You wanted to track your case. Click on all support cases that you have raised. If you raised, what is the status? Unassigned, assigned, in progress, and like closed. So you'll find the status here. What is the last update from the Microsoft on the case? In fact, so if they are not updating anything, you can escalate. If you are under premier support model, you raised a case and they are contacted and they are working on the resolution. The resolution, they need to update time to time. What is their like findings to help you out? They have to update here. So you will find that what is the last updated. You click on the case, it will take you to the notes, complete notes, what they are updating to help you out, right? So then raising a case is very important. Understanding this one thing, raising a case is another thing. So here, if I click on create support request, okay, it has 4 steps. What is your description? So generally, as a engineers, we will only go with the technical issues in the real time. As a like we are engineers, of course, we don't use the first 3 options at all. This is belong to only sales people in the company. They will work on these 3 categories. You work on only technical category to raise the cases, in fact. Okay. So if example, my SQL database connections are intermittently disconnecting for some reason. So you can write the issue, intermittent connectivity issue on SQL database, just for the case. Here the problem type you have to correctly choose it. Connectivity, here connectivity issue you are facing it. So what is your problem type? Okay, through you are going through the private link, you are going through express route, you are going within the networking and TCP ports. What, how you are connecting? This is something you'll understand after the networking module. We're going to discuss everything what it is showing up here. In fact, we're going to talk about all this. So mostly our connections will go in a private link in the real time. We'll talk about what is private link to make a connection to SQL Server. So recommended solutions. Microsoft received this kind of request with many people, from many people. They made certain recommended solutions to follow and then fix your issue. Okay. So if you don't find anything useful, for your issue. Definitely they have a lot of solutions, suggestions to resolve your issue, but you don't have time to work on that and resolve on your own. You go to next and raise a case. Okay, so it is like that. In this category I cannot raise a case. I need to definitely go into basic support model to raise a case. It is asking, in fact. Okay, so if I view plans, it is asking me to change it to um, so basic support model. Then you have to pay $29 per month by default. You will get a support from someone who going to help you out with your request. So one-on-one technical request. You One of the technicians will work with you to resolve your issue, in fact, right? So ask community. This I'm going to explain. This is a different story. So here I'm not authorized to raise a case as a personal basic. We are under basic. We are not paying anything, in fact, right? We are not paying anything, in fact. That's why they're asking you to go through their solution to resolve your issue on your own, because you're not paying anything to the Microsoft. They're asking you to go. There are solutions. You follow it and resolve it. So that kind of thing. In the real time, it will not pop up this kind of message. You can directly go and raise a case. Okay, it will not ask you that kind of message. It will take you to the additional details, like you have to mention when the issue has happened and what kind of issue are facing. Like we can write a message that our SQL database is actually receiving intermittent connectivity issues during the production hours. Client is escalating on us multiple times. This is not acceptable for our business. Please make this thing should not occur again. Kind of, you write something that kind of sort what you are facing it. You write some description, submit the case. They will work on it. What is wrong with the SQL service where it is deployed? In fact, there is one more thing. For any reason you get a more bill in for the first month, maybe I'll tell you the tricks how to control the bill, but if you don't follow it, you'll get some extra bill. Of course, you create a service, you left behind, services keep billing you, and at the end maybe you will get roughly 30-40 dollars, maybe $50 in a month. That is huge for any individual to pay, right? So 3,000 4,000 rupees for India people, it is too much to pay for any individual. So if you forget to destroy services, I'm going to tell you that how do you destroy to make your bill only under 3 to 400 or within $10. If you follow that, you definitely can control your bill. But if you forget, it is a natural that sometimes we'll forget. If you forget, the bill will be more for that particular month. So you can reimburse at least 1 month after you create a pay-as-you-go service. You can reimburse your money at least for 1 month for every individual. So here, so you can write it. I'm a personal learner, your services. I got huge bill which I cannot afford. You can write, I did multiple times. This initial days, I got twice. Nowadays, they're only doing once, but in the initial days, I got twice. The reimbursement, offer to pay. You can write something. They don't ask you, in fact, any question. They'll just straight away reimburse. So unexpected charges, our assistant make the payment, our pricing reimbursement, refund request. So hit next. This is something will help you, all of you, in fact. I don't want to go through any recommended solution. Anyway, I want you to go to hit next. Right, it is letting me to write. This is how the additional details will pop up. So when did you start your subscription? Just to give some date and time. And here, refund request amount. How much you got the bill for that month? Refund reason, you write the same thing like goodwill credit other, you keep it other, provide the details. Like you can write here, I am a personal learner, I am a beginner to learn these services, I created some services and I left behind without destroying them, and then I got a huge bill to by the end of the month. This bill I cannot pay as a personal learner, can you please reimburse for this month so that I'll make sure that this will not happen in the future for me, so that like I can control my bill. You write any content, they need to understand why you are asking for the reimbursement. For every user, they will reimburse at least once. At least once they'll do it without asking anything. In fact, if you see any huge bill for any of the month when you started working the pay as you go, you can reimburse one for 1 month. Nowadays they're accepting only 1 month. Initially when I did twice, I reimbursed. They accepted it. I said like again I forgot, and this looks like huge for me to pay as a personal learner. They did it without asking anything. But here on the nowadays they are not doing twice. Once at least they are doing it. So this will really helpful to all of you. Whenever you see the large bill because you forgot to destroy the resources, you might get more bill. You can get it reimbursed. Okay, this is very useful in fact. Right. This is about the support. Any questions on the support side? This is very important tab. You all need to know. Any question anyone want to ask on this? Let me know.
Uh, no, just where you chose that new service request option.
Here, create a support request. You
Okay,
click on
okay,
the, you click on the
fine.
this question mark, click on the help support, and then go to the overview. There you'll find it. Create a support case kind of.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Right. When you click on this again, there are a lot of other things. You see this in Ask Azure community. You don't want to reach the Microsoft help for any, it's not immediate help that you wanted. You wanted some help maybe you are going to face in the near soon. You come to here and create a case. And from the community, people will help you out. You select the right category under database, under Azure SQL database, right here, and then ask the question. It will see here. Do I use row number to generate item? If I click on this, it is oat answer. There is one answer actually given to this one. If I click on this, it will take, someone posted it, someone answered it. You see this one? So basically, who answered it, they will get the credits. Microsoft will pay them. It's a community. Anybody, even I am part of this community. In fact, I don't spend good time here. I used to in the beginning days, but I am not finding any time. But someone ask a question in the community, and community members answer that question, and the person who posted the question make that answer as answered, then they will get the credits. Credits is a money. In fact, it's a money they'll pay. So who will pay? Microsoft is paying it to encourage people to support the Microsoft product. The community people, any question that you have, you come and post here. Someone will answer you at free of cost, and whoever is answering, they are spending their time, right, to support the Microsoft technology. So if someone posted a question, someone is made your answered as answered for their question, then you will get the credits automatically as a first answered, second answered, like how quickly you reacted to that question, all will be calculated. Based on that you'll get the credits. Okay, the credits will be see here, post these many and these many people are users, you have these many followers, you have it under the community. You go and post the question, someone will definitely will give you the better answer. As long as you don't get the better answer, you don't make it answered. Okay, that way you get the community help. In fact, it is really useful. Without any charges, you can get the community help. Documentation. You wanted to explore on your own with the existing documentation. There is a lot of documentation. If you go to database services, if you go to managed instance services, here the documentation is only what is what. They don't talk about any troubleshooting anywhere. So in any of the Microsoft website, you don't see much of the troubleshooting. They don't talk about troubleshooting. Why they don't talk about troubleshooting, and why don't they give all the options that you face in the real time, and why don't they give you all the solutions, the ready-made solution? They don't give you because they are also earning money through support. They only tell you that how you configure the services, how you can interact with the services. But once the issue, the issues part they don't discuss. If you get the issue, you go to the Microsoft, they will help you, they'll get paid for that. So they're keeping it still. I mean, they're not giving every solution that the services faces, and they're not giving solutions for each real-time use case, in fact. So that is usual. You all know that. In every Microsoft, you go and get the implementation plan, not actually troubleshooting side. So that is usual. But if you want a certain solutions for your case, you go to the community. They'll help. You will post a question, I'm facing this issue multiple times, and someone will give the best answer from the community. And they'll get paid for that from the Microsoft. Some people only work on the help, the community side. So they only their job is to answer and get the money from the Microsoft for that answers. People who really work on that side, there are many people in the community also. You'll find it. They are good people, in fact. They'll help you for anything that you post there, in fact. Right, this is all about you need to know here under the help. Community help, and you can feed, you can write anything that you wanted, just informative. And here there is a human symbol here. It is your subscription. You wanted to write something to the Microsoft as a feedback about your day-to-day experience on Azure cloud. So today, if you feel about some new service and which is made your job easy, you can tell them then write that I really happy that I have to see this service and this made my job easy. And then we used to work a lot of manual work. It is no more. We have to do. So you are feeling good, write good. You're feeling bad, write that if you want. It's not mandatory, but I used to write in initial days. I used to engage a lot of with Microsoft, in fact, initial days. But nowadays, I am working on different profiles. I'm not spending time. But you can write your own experience every day, and Microsoft will monitor your every feedback written by every person in the market. Because how do you grow, in fact, as a company? When you listen the market, how do they listen? Through the feedback. Everything written by every individual person, Microsoft will read it out. There is a separate team to read the feedback, and if we see here through the feedback, they develop a lot of things. In fact, market people have a different like a view, and the Microsoft has a different view. It happens. So when they read the feedback, they generate the new ideas for them to build new services, new like add-ons on the existing service. So it's very productive for them, in fact. So reading the feedback and working on it, for Microsoft is productive. That's why there will be separate team to check on your feedback, whatever you're writing here. So it's up to you. It's not mandatory to write a feedback, but it's up to you. What do you feel you want to write, you can write it. This is your subscription, through which email address you have subscribed and all that. It's information. It's about your account, what is your bill and all that, what is default directory. You can find it here. These are all about this help symbol, and this guys comes the other side, this side. Any questions on the top bar? This I did not cover. These three I did not cover yet. These two anyway we will cover in the different classes. This I'll cover today. So the top bar is over. Let's come to the left side. To create any service, this is something segregated services. If I wanted to work on database side, if I click on all database related services are gathered together as a bunch. I don't have to search for what service I'm working on database. What service I'm working on compute VM. Anything that comes under VM is a compute. So all sort of services are available related to compute. So if you are networking guy, you should go to networking. All networking related services are you know gathered, put together in one single page here. In fact, we'll call it as a blade, single blade. The page called as each one you click, this one is a blade, and this one is also blade. Page or blade, what do you say? But the term will say is a blade. So this is quick service. What it is, it actually they gathered the services together about each different services. They listed out all services under it, which is something good for us. You don't have to search for anything that under database services. All are here presented. This is something good. What is home? Home is something our frequently accessed services. Whatever you frequently access, here you will find it. Okay, these are all static services that you see in the Azure services, and here some useful link to access and all that. But we don't use the home page at all in the real time. I don't use it personally, or no one uses, in fact. Come to the dashboard. Dashboards are really useful for us, seriously. So if I wanted to create, I created a lot of dashboards. I wanted to delete few. I don't want these many. I'll show you how you create your own custom dashboard. See, there is a SQL database. I can monitor the database from the dashboard. This will come when we get into the course anyway. SQL side. How many I have? This is last one you cannot delete. You cannot delete the last dashboard. Yes. So now I'm going to create my own dashboards. So dashboards are helpful to monitor the environment, from the single page. You can, whatever the services you wanted to monitor, you pin it to dashboard. From the dashboard, you can monitor it direct. You don't have to go to service and look at it. So certain cases, we will have to monitor the database services because people complain the database performance is slow, but you did all your analysis, nothing was found out. Then we will look at the database continuously and where the load is coming. This is something, you do, you did all your job. You did the number of indexes, for the workload, and you tune the sort procs, and you given the more of power to database. Still, sometimes people are still facing the issue. So then you have to track the database when the peak load is coming. Why this, when there is things are, like a tuned manner, still why you are getting that bad issues. You have to look at and monitor. And we'll ask them at what time you are facing this issue. So we have to sit at that work, you have to look at that workload. So what is going on? What queries are running that time? So we need to catch them. We need to find out what exactly the, creating the load and all that. So how do you do that? We will create our own dashboard, make the database workload to monitor from the dashboard. So how that can be done? We will see in the future, not now. But how do you build your own dashboard? That's something we're going to see now. Click on the create. Here generally, on the dashboard, maybe I'll keep it a sample dashboard. You can give any name, custom dashboard. I'll call this dashboard as a sample dashboard. You can give any name. Right. So generally, in the real time, we will work for different clients at different time zones. I have three clients. One client, he has infrastructure in Azure in three different time zones. Each time zone has its own downtime, not the same. And we can manage the resources using the resource groups. Okay. Resource group. You can type it if you don't find. Resource. Here, this one. So using these resource groups, I can monitor entire subscription. In fact, monitor in the sense reach. What are the services are running at the moment? I can reach them. So, but this look like a too big for you, then go and change it to small to adjust more other services on the dashboard. Because if I save as it is taking a lot of space on my dashboard. I wanted to adjust them here, here, here. You got to edit again. You just drag and drop. Why it is not doing? You can drag and drop. It's not happening. Right, yeah, it is working now. You can readjust. Maybe 4 by 4 enough. 4 by 2 enough, most probably. 2 by 2. Like this and save it. So you can add more services to dashboard and monitor from here. What services we will add to the dashboard to monitor, we will see that. Okay. Today is only I am familiarizing you with the portal. These are all you should know as a cloud DBA or cloud any profile for that matter. These are all things you should know. Then we'll enter into technical side tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to talk about all the VM stuff, what you have to know on the VM side to make that work better for SQL Server and all that. But today is only creating free subscription, knowing the cloud options, right? What are the options we need to know? All that. Okay. So now these are all. If I click on this, I wanted to edit this. I want to edit the time zone where I'm working here. Each client, different client is different time zone. You make the time zones ready. Sometimes we cannot convert, right? EST, PST, CST, different time zones we have in the US. So you just keep all the clocks ready here. and each time zone has its own downtime. So based on that, we have to work. So converting all the time or keeping all the clocks in mind is not possible. That's why keep the clocks on your dashboard and look at the times and start working on that. That's what I do. Personally, I keep all the clocks, whatever the regions we are supporting it. Each region has its own clocking, and each clocking has different maintenance window to take the downtime on the servers. So look at the clock and start working on that. It is ready-made clock for you. No need to go to Google and convert it, kind of, right? That is one thing. Dashboard, I'm not finishing yet. We will see this in detail after building more and more services. There you get the more meaning of it. All services. This is very important. You wanted to build your own favorites. See, there are a lot of services. You don't see these many services here, in fact, because it comes with a little, some default services. You go to here, if I type SQL, all SQL related services will be displayed here, all SQL. If I click on this Azure SQL, is it there? It is there in my favorites. How do I say? There is a star is filled with a blue color. If I go to somewhere here, Postgres, I don't have this in my favorites. I don't have this in my favorites. How do I say? When I place the cursor on this, you find this one, the star symbol, it is empty at the moment. It is empty. So when you place the cursor on it, it is empty means it is not there in your favorites. It is not there in this list. If I click on this one, it is there in my favorite. I can say that by looking at the star. If I click on this, it is not there in my favorite. How do I say? By looking at the star. So like that, you can add it to your favorite. Just example. I wanted to add this one. Azure Synapse Analytic. It is there in my favorite. This one is also there. Come on. This one. Reservations. I don't have this. If I click on the star, it will get added at the bottom of your list under favorites. Here, if I if I place the cursor, if I click on the star, it get added to my favorites automatically. I can readjust if I wanted. I'll readjust based on the frequency of access I do on that service. In fact, you add all your favorites here. Every day, whatever the services you work in your profile, every day whatever the services you interact, you add it to under your favorite, so you don't have to search every day. If I have to work on the SQL server is in my list, I'll click on this, I'll find all the SQL server, I'll start working on it based on the request what I received for the day. I don't have to go to quick search, or also I have to go to find your categories. I have to search every day. I don't have to do. It is built into my favorite. I can directly access it every day and start working from there. You don't have to search every day because you're going to work on that service every day. So keep your services, whatever you access daily, under favorite. How do you keep it? Go to all services. From here only you can add. Go to all services, search for that service first time. Okay. Virtual example. Virtual, I'm typing it. So whatever is starting with virtual, I'm getting it here. So everything, everywhere there is a virtual. See. So all these services have the virtual in it. So if I wanted to add here, network managers, this is not in my favorites. I click on the star, it get added at the bottom of your favorites, network managers. So this way, you have to build your own favorite services which you access on daily basis. You don't have to search and look for it every day, right? So this is how you build your own favorite services, guys. It is very, very important because you don't have to go through everything that you do every day, like going for the search and finding it and working is not good thing. Like you're working every day on the virtual machines, you dock it to under your favorites and then start working on it. Every VM will be shown under this of your subscription. Okay, so that way, these are all you need to know, guys. Whatever I discussed so far, it is a must knowledge for any person who wanted to work in the cloud, building their own favorites and knowing how to raise a case, and they wanted to keep their own personal profile, and what is the default directory that you have for you, right? So, and what is quick search, what is a quick create, and what is all services, dashboard, home. These are all minimum knowledge anybody need to have, and everybody, right? So I quickly create one machine. for the discussion sake. I'm creating here. I'm not going to explain anything. Tomorrow we're going to go through every single option that we see on the VM anyway, very in detail of it. Tomorrow I'll start a lot of technical stuff because there onwards we're going to touch base actual content of it. In fact, okay, fine. If I click on this, this is your subscription. What is subscription? What is resource group? I'll talk right in front of you. I mean, right in the beginning tomorrow. We'll see that. Okay, fine. If I look at here, what are the naming conventions we will follow when we name it services? We'll see that tomorrow. I'll quickly create one server. I'm not going to explain anything for today. Tomorrow we will go through every single thing that we need on the VM. You need to know whatever you need to know. I'm going to discuss in detail because we run a lot of SQL servers on the cloud VM. You need to know. So I'll directly use this one. The disk using the disks, in the cloud VM according to the need. We will see that. Uh, Whether your VM is scaling with the CPU, whether VM is scaling with the IO, whether your VM is scaling in the memory, we can easily find. Very simple. I'm going to talk about that. Okay. How,
One question, but in an organization, being a SQL DBA, so this creating virtual machines, I think we won't do, right? Usually, they'll create for us and give us. We just
no,
build our
actually,
SQL servers. No?
right, right, actually. But as an architect, I do create a template. I'll give it to the my SQL team. They use a template. They only SQL team itself is creating the VMs because we have our own template. The template has all the prerequisites with what SQL needed. So it all matters how the environment is operating. So in fact, there is a infrastructure team in the cloud also. They do deploy the VMs, but they don't know the what standards we need for the database. In fact, as a DBA, we should know. So what are the standards we should get from the VM to make SQL Server work better on the cloud VM? So that I'm going to explain. Mainly the intention to talk about VM is that a VM is just creating the VM blindly does not give you the performance. In fact, you need to know certain features on the VM side also to tune for your SQL Server. So there we're going to spend good time. Okay.
Okay.
They're needed knowledge. If you don't follow that, you don't get the good performance. If you don't get a good performance, obviously your performance, I mean the server performance will be bad. So we'll talk about that. But again, it's environmental. Purely environmental, whether you create or you don't create. We create in our environment. As SQL DBA, my team creates. So because we deployed certain templates and we only use the template. Windows team does not use a template because that is specifically created for SQL only. So we know what standards we wanted, and when we are creating also, each project will have its own network and subnets, and we know all of that. So we created a run books and we given to the general operations guys. They do follow the runbooks and create the VMs. Each project will have its own network and subnets, and what pricing tier they had to follow. There is a predefined templates we built. So I'll make you familiar on that one. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's creating at the moment. You see this one, the bell symbol. So deployment. There was a last dashboard you cannot delete. So 13 minutes ago, this error was filed. Why? Because you cannot delete the last dashboard from your dashboard section. So if you're deploying a service, the deployment of the service will take time. How long ago it was actually deployed? 2 minutes ago, and it is still going on. So this you can trace it. If it is failed, what reason it is failed? It is successful. See, the VM creation is successful at the moment. If it is not successful, write the error. You need to follow that error to fix it. Mostly the error will help you out. What is the problem with the VM to not to get provisioned? What is the missing piece that we have? So if you go to here, more events, you click on this. Who did what on the Azure cloud? Who deleted? Who created? So everything we can find it. So it is a filter. There should be filter last 6 hours. Instead of that, I'll go to last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks, how many services I created? I can find it here. All these I created and deleted and all that. So This is like auditing data. I created a VM. I can easily caught. I can easily caught that I created this VM kind of thing. So I'll talk about this. This is like very useful information. If someone destroyed some service and is not no one is accepting, we can find their details here. Who dropped that particular service? In fact, is inbuilt auditing anyway. We'll talk about that separately. So the VM is running at the moment. See,
Ravinder, for the activity log, this will capture only the actions which we performed at the services level, or for example, if we delete some tables from
no,
database, those things.
database deletion can be captured, but not table modifications, table
Okay,
deletions.
okay,
It is a service level. Database is a service, but within the database, you're creating table. It's not a service. It is just a component of database. So your database created, it'll capture it. You deleted, it'll capture. You modify the database pricing model, it'll capture. You extend the storage, it'll capture. But you
hmm,
play around the objects, it won't capture.
okay.
We'll see that.
So if you pay any additional amount or costing, the auditing will be in place.
Yes, yes. You scaling up a database, you scale down a database, it will auditing in place. Who did the scale up? Who did that scale down? We can find it.
Okay, fine.
We will see that. Yeah,
Okay.
fine. So now, what I was trying to talk about VM, right? VM is running. If I wanted to connect to this VM, you generally use a public IP and connect. People generally, the beginners, they don't know. They click on the connect RDP, then download the file, and then they'll connect. It's all not required. Go to the overview, get the public IP of the machine. Why we need a public IP? Because we are not part of the backend network to connect to the VM. So MSTSC, give it, and then it will talk. It is talking because I opened something. I did not talk about that yet. It is by default, the ports are opened, the network can communicate. We will talk about that in the networking. Who can connect, who should not connect, and why I wanted to only connect in the backend network, not with the public IP at all, to make my server secure. We will see all of that. You get the 100% fair idea how things work in the real time. Mostly we will spend good time on the practical side, not on the theory. But these are all basic things you need to know. Right. So the VM is created and you have the product on the VM, and you wanted to know like whether the VM disk storage models. We have three storage models: standard hard disk, standard solid state disk, premium solid state disk. Three disk tiers we have. We generally go with the standard hard disk for the pre-prods, standard solid state with the production. That I'll cover day after tomorrow after two classes. What to choose, what kind of storage for the production, what kind of storage for the pre-prod, whether the current storage model is really scaling with the current uh, workload or not. So how do you find it? Just for the case, my laptop, I have it. I have the SQL server on my laptop. Is my hard disk is good to scale with my workload? How do I find it? So my hard disk is SSD, solid state disk hard disk, which has a 2 TB capacity. Uh, is it good for my workload or not? So how do I justify it? It is simple, in fact. How do I justify my CPU is okay for my workload or not? How do I say that current memory, deployed memory is okay or not for my workload? I'll talk about that. It is simple. See, if I go to here, activity monitor, there is an activity monitor, you find it on the SQL server, where you have a disk IO file here. This will load. The response time, you see this is a very important factor you need to consider. The response time, the maximum you can see is 1. The response time is giving in milliseconds. This value, what it is giving is a milliseconds. If the response time is less than 10 milliseconds, your hard is damn good, in fact, in terms of writes for your workload. So let me read some data which is very huge in my system and show you that how my disk is performing against that operation. Help DB. I'm reading the help DB to just know the maximum size of the database. Oh, this has a 9 GB data. So if I go to this, which one? Stack Overflow, this one. Go to here. Oh, we have very less tables. What is the biggest table out of all this? How do I know? Go to here, reports, standard reports, disk usage by table. Okay, by top tables. Disk usage top table. Use that. I wanted to know the largest table in the database. This is the one. You see this one. These many records. Records wise, this has more records, but this is the size. It is taking most of the size. Roughly 6 GB of storage it is taking at the moment. I'm going to read this table, 6 GB table without any filter, which is going to read all the 6 GB of data. So which is very bad, in fact. That should not be done. But anyway, I wanted to make bad situation to make you understand better about the IO. What is the table name? dbo.post. This one. I'm reading it as it is. It is going to run quite a long time for sure because 6 GB data it has to read. It is executing at the moment. Now I'll come to the activity monitor where for this workload, how my activity monitor really working, my disk is really working. It is reading 25, 45 Mbps per second and giving you the response in 3 milliseconds, which is too good. My workload is very bad workload I'm loading on the system, but the disk is reading with the workload with the 47 Mbps every 3 seconds, milliseconds, like the disk response time is 6 milliseconds, which is good, damn good for this workload. Okay, so whether if these values are developing more than 20, your disk is not good for your operations. What you're imposing the load in and out, like input output operations, what it is actually responding with. The more the value, the more the queues, disk queues will be generated. So if I go to task manager also, I can find here also. If you go to performance, click on the open resource monitor under disk, under the disk activity, right? It will display every operation, what you see here, right? So it is still loading it. Here, if you see, um, maximum response time is 14 for different process. It is a temp kind of thing. But what is a SQL server? It is reading a file. The SQL server reading a file. Come on, here it is. What file it is reading? It is reading a file of this database. Physically, where this database sitting, that is the file it is reading from the hard disk. It is there in the stack overflow.mdf in C drive. Okay, in C drive, do you see that value somewhere? The file stack overflow. Maybe I'll filter it to SQL Server, only SQL Server. These are all SQL Server operations on the disk. So you see this one, temp on the temp, you see the 4 milliseconds response. And where is this?
This is task manager, right?
Yeah, this is task manager. Yes, from the task manager also you can track how the your disk is actually performing well for your SQL Server or not. Where is that Stack Overflow? Do you see that file? We should see that Stack Overflow. Do you see the SQL? Yeah, we selected SQL. What SQL reading the files? It will keep the files here at the Stack Overflow. It is finished or what? Not this one. Close this off. It is finished. Okay. If I rerun again, this time it won't go to the disk mostly. But anyway, you can see that where the load is coming from. But it should show the Stack Overflow file here. I don't want that. Only the SQL service I wanted. It's not showing here under Activity Monitor. Can find under Activity Monitor at least. temp. Okay, it is not going to disk. Why it is not going to disk? Because I have 32 GB RAM on my machine. I read 6 GB data. All the data is in the buffer. It is getting the data from the buffer only. It is not going to the disk anymore to read the data. So that's why that file is not coming in the list. I'll clean the buffer quickly. Dropping the buffers. You should not do this on the production. Drop clean buffers. Done. Now if I read it again, it should go to the disk to read the data. And what is the file name we have here? Stack Overflow. From this file, it should read the data. See here, it is reading on the top. Stack Overflow, 4 milliseconds. Now here also you should find it, Stack Overflow. It's not showing up here. It should show up actually, in fact, here also. C drive, Stack Overflow. Anyway, what is the SQL Server maximum response time? You can find it here, in fact. So this is the best source of truth for us. You don't have to go to the task manager. In the SQL itself, activity monitor will give you the response time. What is your workload? What is your response time? The highest one. If the highest one is less than 10 milliseconds, the disk what you have on the machine for your workload is good. That way we can conclude that disk is doing good or bad on the machine. It is able to pull 50 Mbps data per second, in fact, per second. And the disk response time overall is 4 milliseconds. It is too good from this one because it is reading the data again from the disk because I cleaned the buffer, the cache data. Anyway, we will see a lot of things, don't worry. So I'll start talking from tomorrow onwards, technical stuff. Okay. So whether the VM is scaling well or not, there are many things we need to consider, in fact. Okay. Okay, that's all for today. Tomorrow onwards, we will go towards a lot of technical side. So be there on time, please. Don't join too late because we'll start. I'll wait 2 minutes exactly and start. I'm stopping it.